Okay, here we go. I just watched the movie Spaceman, and it was one of the best movies I've ever watched. So I immediately want to say a few things of it. This isn't really a well thought up or well put together thing. I just had some thoughts I needed to get off my chest in my head. Listen, that was possibly one of the best movies I've ever watched. Right before I watched the Perfect Stranger, Bruce Willis, Halle Berry. Say Halle Berry or Hallelujah. Pick your poison. Tell me what you're doing. Every time Halle Berry came on the screen, I was just thinking about that. But that movie was a pile of dog shit. That movie, it was so okay. It was so okay. No disrespect to Bruce Willis, but that movie was just okay. It was a pile of dog shit. So after that, I watched Spaceman because I was on TikTok, and you know how you can watch you can watch entire movies on TikTok and shit. If you find all 83 parts, you can watch an entire movie. As long as you put up with the music, the intense music, like no matter what sings on, like it's a real sad scene, but they just play that one looping track. And everyone watches movies that way, right? But a scene from that came out and it's about an astronaut, played by Adam Sandler, talking to a giant spider. So that intrigued me because the spider wasn't like eating him, and shit, that intrigued me. So I had to check the movie out, and it was really one of the best movies I've ever seen. So I wrote down some notes about what to talk about. First of all, the spider's name is Hanus, and he has to be one of my favorite characters ever. Like, it's a giant spider, right? First of all, I'd be very scared of a giant spider. You know, if a giant spider came on screen, I'd probably, like, cover my eyes, shit like that. But I was so captivated by everything this Hanus had to say. Like, when he came on screen, I literally, went right up to the TV and took a knee and sat my, no, whatever. And I was just, like, so captivated. I wanted to get as close to the TV as possible just to hear what he had to say because he was so wise. And shit like that. He was saying shit like, the universe is as it should be. And he's talking to Adam Sandler. He's like, you carry a lot of guilt. You carry a lot of guilt. And Sandman, as his friends call him. I'm not calling him that, but because we can't call him that, but his friends call him Sandman. I'm just telling you because we can't call him that. But Sandman was very, very good, and he was like, your kind doesn't carry guilt. I can't do it, Adam Sandler. Your kind, and he's like, our kind does not carry guilt because the universe is as it should be. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Friends was a being from another world. Yeah, I don't know if this is a trope or something. Like TV tropes. Ever use that website? I think everyone should use TV tropes. But the gist is that he makes a friend with a being from another world. And I think that is the coolest trope ever. The spider, does not eat him. But it also saddens me because it's something you can't really tell anyone else. No one is going to believe, the spider Hanus was on the spaceship with him. He'd probably be called crazy and shit. But at the end of the day, it was a love story, which was... I didn't get into it because of the love story. I wanted to watch the movie because of the giant spider. But it occurred to me that it was quite amazing just how much story you can wrap. How much story you can wrap around just the story of two people, right? Like the Titanic movie, that was like 3 hours long. You would think it's about the Titanic, right? But it turns out it's actually a love story about Jack and the girl. And this movie ultimately is about Yakub and Lenka and Hanus playing... I don't want to sound too Reddit. I don't want to sound too Tumblr either. I'd be okay with sounding 4chan. But Yakub, Hanus kind of... It's a film about forgiving yourself. It's not the first film to ever do so. But there's an important part where he's like, Father, I absolve you of your sins and I absolve myself. And ultimately, Hanus leaves, and he doesn't come back until, as in Hanus's words, Sandler or Sandman does a purge, and Sandman forgives himself. Because forgiving yourself can be the hardest thing to do. Like even the most self-conscious or like anxious person, because the way we look at ourselves is like very overlooking. We overlook a lot of our own flaws. We're not very objective when it comes to ourselves. It's like, so even the most self-conscious and anxious person, probably misses like 11 things about himself. And whenever he's like walking around in public, all these 11 things are like on full display to everyone around him, and everyone's like, oh my god, that's so fucked up and shameful. Meanwhile, the self-conscious guy has no idea. He's like, oh my god, my shirt, oh shit. So it's very easy for us to carry burdens of stupid things like that, like self-consciousness, anxiety. But when it comes to forgiving ourselves, it's very hard. But it's crazy to me. Forgiving yourself, because we're very narcissistic. Right? I'm assuming you guys are like me. But forgiving yourself. But anyways, he forgives himself. Kuno Nayar, I think this, I'm just reading my notes here like over the place. Kuno Nayar as Peter. I gotta say, I think I might be racist. Because all the names came up in front of the movie, at the start of the movie, and Kuno Nayar came on. And I love the Big Bang Theory, right? I've been told it's not funny. I've been told that. And but I haven't thought about Kuno Nayar in so long. So the name K, I'm looking at the abbreviation Kuno, and for some reason in my head I'm thinking about Kumail Nanjiani. And I was like, oh my god, Kumail. I was looking at Kuno Nayar, but I was thinking about Kumail Nanjiani. But then suddenly I realized, wait a second, who's Peter? Peter is Rajesh Kusarpali from Big Bang Theory. I'm like, oh my god, it's not Kumail, it's my favorite guy. And I guess I know Kuno Nayar. He was the best character in Big Bang Theory. He was the best. He was the funniest guy behind Sheldon. But for some reason, I was thinking about Kuno Nayar. But what a great surprise that he's back. What a great surprise that he's still acting in things. This was such a great movie just because it involves Kuno Nayar, who married like a Miss India or something. I know a few facts about Kuno Nayar, so I do know him. I'm not racist. At least not in this one thing, I'm not racist. But what else do I have here on my notes? I wish everyone would see this movie, because you know how movies blow up on TikTok? Like Young Sheldon is so big now, well deserved. Because it's one of the, you don't see classic sitcoms like that, because they're classic and they're all back in the 90s. Like you don't see much Seinfeld, you don't see much 9-season things. It's like you're lucky to get a 3-season show. But Young Sheldon, I think season 7, it just ended. Everyone on TikTok loves it, and TikTok is used by the younger generation, which I'm very fond of. Because there's so much creativity. I think the Gen Alpha or Gen, I don't know what gen we're up now. I think I'm a Zoomer. I'm not the latest gen though. But there's so much creativity. If the young people like it, it's gotta be good. Okay, I'm not a fossil yet, but I know that if the young people like it, and I'm very surprised because you would think young people, they want fast paced, they want edgy, they want shit like that. But they've taken a liking to Young Sheldon. So why am I talking about Young Sheldon? Oh yeah, because I wish this movie would have blew up on TikTok. Because I saw a clip of it on TikTok. It was this astronaut and a giant spider. You would think that's enough to hook an entire generation into, whoa, I gotta check that out. It's a giant spider, right? But no. But I wish more people would see this. A lot of people were talking about Uncut Gems. I wish more people would talk about this movie. You know how you experience a piece of media. Fucking media. You know how people use the word media? They're like, oh man, this media. Because they want to make it clear. Oh, I'm not just talking about books. I'm not just talking about games. I'm not just talking about TV shows. I'm not just talking about movies. Because they're talking about all these things. Why can't you just say like story? And then they go like makers. Why not author? Why not fucking makers and media? But anyways, I wish more people would check out this movie. And yeah, Adam Sandler, who started on SNL, he was of the golden age of SNL. Chris Farley, Adam Sandler, Norm Macdonald. I wonder, what would Norm say if he saw Sandman acting all this? Because Sandman, now he's a serious actor, shit like that. I wonder what would Norm fucking say. But this was truly an amazing movie, and it's based on a book. The Spaceman of Bohemia came out in 2017. I thought it would be an adaptation of an old story because it's very Eastern Bloc aesthetic, and I love the Eastern Bloc. It's very Eastern Bloc aesthetic, it's the applause, it's the bureaucracy when they're fucking FaceTiming Yakub and everything. Oh, the brave Yakub, I do this for all the people of the world. Shit like that. It's very, what's the bureaucratic? I just use that word. I'm gonna use it again. It's very Eastern Bloc aesthetic. Maybe it's like that movie Polaris. I've never seen Polaris. But, it's made in Czech Republic, so I was surprised. The book came out in 2017. I thought it would be some shit like that came out in the 60s, about Soviet life. Czech Socialist Republic. But no, so I guess Eastern Bloc and what happened and still weighs heavily on the author's mind. You know, I guess for everyone in Eastern Europe, that was a big part of life. It's almost like it's a specter of some sort. Could that be something? Has anyone ever thought about it? Like a socialism as a specter. Man, what's next? It's also unlikely that the two of us would meet. That you and I would meet. I really like the friendship between Hanus and Jakub. And when he said that at the end, it reminded me of being alive, it's the greatest gig in the world, you know, you get to wear a hat, go to Denny's. It's all such a fluke. There's so many more people that have never got to be alive. I mean, think about it, man. Your mom had to fuck your dad, and your grandfather had to fuck your grandmother, and all these people had to have sex with each other for you to be here. But in the end, for Hanus and Jakub to meet, that was truly amazing. Sandler, really good. That's what it says in my notes. I watched Perfect Stranger. What a pile of shit. I said it already. Fear and Hope. I can't think of what I mean by that. Can't tell anyone about Hanus. That's the saddest thing about the whole movie. It's like, but that's on purpose, you know. How you meet a spider for fucking a week, and he's changed your life in this way that cannot be measured. Your entire outlook on life has changed, and your entire set of priorities has changed. And I really hope the audio gets all this. I should hold the mic up. In just such a brief meeting will go on to change the rest of Jakub's life. You know, he makes up with Lenka, and when he gets back to Earth, and he's gonna be a complete different individual. But Hanus is gone. The fucking Gormadons got him. And he can never tell anyone about Hanus because no one will believe him. He's like, oh my god, 189 days got to your head, you know, it's a figment of your imagination, we're gonna have to check you in. He can never say that to anyone, because even bringing it up will mark him as crazy, and if you're marked as crazy, because we as a society, we don't really know how to deal with, like, mental health. But, it got me thinking about how people die. Did you guys know that? People die. People die, but they live on in their actions and deeds, right? The Mona Lisa, who painted that? David, who painted David, Da Vinci, right? He painted the Mona Lisa, and years later, thousands of years later, it's still here. It still has a place in the Louvre. The Louvre, that a glass pyramid museum in France, and people still line up to witness it because it's such a great piece of art. So he lives on in that way, and you know, I know his name. Other people know his name. Artists know his name. And it's like people die, but their actions live on. It's not like you have to make something either. If you do, then I'm fucked, because I haven't made anything yet. I mean, I made this, but who they influence, you know? If someone has influenced you and they pass away, then every day that you live, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. If someone has influenced you, then every day that you walk is a testament to their existence. You understand? They may have died, but they still exist in this world through their actions and through the people they influence. So there are some people, and maybe I'll tell you one day who my people are, that you can carry with you for the rest of your life. So but the crazy thing is, Hanus won't be remembering history. That really fucks me up, because Hanus was such a great friend. But anyways, it almost felt like cheating because I watched it with subtitles, because the music was so good. The music was really good. But the thing is, I watched with the subtitles on, so I could kind of tell, you know, what's going on. I kind of had a sixth sense, because it'd be close-up of Sandler, and they'll say, suspenseful music playing. And I'm like, oh shit. This is a suspenseful moment. We're in suspense of something. Something's about to happen, right? And guess what? Something did happen. The giant spider came. So, and when it was sad music playing, I knew to be sad. No, I didn't need to be told when to be sad, because it was truly an amazing movie. But the music, I need to speak on the music, because it was so fucking good. It was so fucking good. It uses, I don't know any music terms. I've heard music terms like melodies and progression. I don't know what their definitions are. But it uses in what I would call simple melodies that are more progressions, because it's not really, do I remember one of them? Like, I don't know if this got that. I don't know. But it uses those simple tracks. And because we're talking about music and space, I have to talk about Super Mario Galaxy. I just have to. At the end of the movie, we are met with one of the coolest ending sequences of all time. If you think of special effects and CGI, it really pays off because Hanus and Yakub going to the Chopra, the beginning and the end of all things. Purple, this purple dust of space matter that holds everyone's memories and every event and every blah blah. And it goes through all of Lanka and Yakub's love timeline, kind of, and the music swells. That's the word. The music swells in the back, and there's something about piano paired with space that really works. It brings me back, the void and expanse of the galaxy. How you can feel so alone, but also so curious at the same time as what's out there. Because there's no other humans around here, but you still want to know what's out there. Still want to go off to those like distant planets and shit. Not just to look for another alien race, but just to see the void, the clusters of stars, asteroids, meteor belts, asteroid belts. I don't know a lot of words. But it always brings me back to Super Mario Galaxy. If you heard the tracks like Welcome to the Star Festival, and this track has a dumb name, it's like Junk Galaxy. If you've heard those tracks, then you know what I'm talking about. Piano paired with space is an amazing combo. But yeah, music was really good, that's my point. And Paul Dano, 2 words I see here on my notes. Paul Dano played the spider, I think. Yes, he did. Paul Dano as Hanus. I'm like, who the fuck is Hanus? And then I met the spider. The spider is Hanus. And he was really good. And for a few moments of the movie, I had to remind myself, yo, that's Paul Dano. And then the picture of Paul Dano would come to my head. And I realized, like, god damn, this movie would be so dumb if, like, Paul Dano played himself. Like, if Paul Dano just appeared. But the way he voiced the spider was so good. I wasn't thinking about Paul Dano at all. He was just so good. He was just so good as the voice of the spider. Everything has a beginning and an end. Seems obvious, right? Everything has a beginning and an end. And there's one of these things where it's said at the beginning of the film, and then at the end it makes a callback in an unexpected way. This was one of the more expected ways for it to be called back on, because I saw Hanus was never gonna die, but that was a lie, and that was actually heartbreaking. That was actually hard. The fucking Gormadons. Fuck the Gormadons, man. Everything has a beginning and an end, but I guess in a way Hanus had to die, right? You're not taking a spider back with you on Earth, or if he didn't die, he would have to leave because he can't go to Earth. Shit like that. And it would make his impact that much more impactful. It would make his impact that much more impactful. He talks about saying something like everything is permanent, but nothing is. So he had to die because it was about how a fleeting impression can make a lifelong impact on you. It was about how an ephemeral being could make a permanent impact. It was about how such a short meeting will alter the rest of your life. Shit like that. So I guess it wouldn't be as impactful if he had stayed. And we're friends forever now. Yakub, Lanka, the baby, and Hanus, we all living in a house by the countryside. No, that it couldn't have worked. So unfortunately, he had to go. And the way they talk about Chopra was so amazing. Hanus saying, "A grain of it fell on my tongue when I was born." Reminds me that this is a genre of sci-fi called hard sci-fi, where it's rooted in reality, right? There's no hyperdrive, there's no engaging warp drive, there's no parsecs, there's no Kessel Run lightsabers. It's interesting. Hard sci-fi is sci-fi that's very close to reality. I guess we are so close to it, we could reach out and touch it. Because I talk to people in the physics department at my university, and everyone's so realistic. Everyone's so rooted in reality, which is like the worst place to be rooted in. I talked to them about, hey, when are we gonna do all this? And they're like, oh, that's not possible. But the thing is, how can we know? You know, hard sci-fi really, really gets my imagination going because we are so close to it. We are so because all the technology that's there, we have. We just don't have the resources. We don't have to come up with anything new. You know, we're very far from Star Wars, or very ahead of Star Wars. And that, you know, to be Star Wars, when you come up with a fucking lightsaber. But the story of hard sci-fi is like everything we already have. So anytime I read hard sci-fi, I'm like, shit, man, we could be doing all this. We could be very close to doing all this, but we're not. But I love hard sci-fi. The book is called Spaceman of Bohemia. Oh yeah, and the music they use, I say again here, they play it at some very key moments. And it's one of those tracks that instantly stick in my head. I think, but how I measure a song is how many takes it needs before it sticks in my head. Some songs I hear and I instantly know this is so good. I instantly remember, and it feels like I'm chasing something that I heard in my past. Because in a lot of ways I feel like I heard a lot of songs in my youth that I didn't get the names of. So anytime I hear a song and I instantly like it on the first listen, I think to myself, maybe this is one of those tracks I heard in my childhood, you know. Maybe it's not, but it's something like it, which means it's really good. But yeah, this soundtrack of the movie had a couple moments like this. What else do I have here? Hard sci-fi three-body problem. I wrote three-body problem down because three-body problem, the first book is hard sci-fi, but the book takes you 100 years into the future, 200 years into the future, 400 years into the future, 10 million years into the future. So it was hard sci-fi for the first book. And it was an amazing read. Sandler is really good in this. I said it like 5 times already, but he was really good. I might check out Uncut Gems. Because this movie was so good. I may want to see Sandler as a serious actor again. But the thing is, I also really like the world, man. I love Eastern Bloc. I love the Soviet era so much. And while he was in space, such a cool setting. They were still reminiscing about his life as a kid. You know, my father was an informant for the party. He was a good man who did bad things. Talking about the revolution, the collapse, the dissolution of the Czech Socialist Republic. It is such an interesting setting. I want to read more fiction out of the Eastern Bloc. I believe I should play Signalist. I got this here. I'm reading that. It's pretty good so far. Literally talking about Jesus, recounting the story of Jesus Christ, which I don't know much about. Oh yeah, at the end the South Koreans save him. Gorum Ped, I wrote that name down again because fuck him. Yeah, when he went out of the ship to save Hanus, that moment, dang. Because he went out and the safety belt he had connected, the harness connected to the ship, that got knocked off. But he just wanted to be with Hanus, and Hanus actually overcomes his tribe's tradition of not violating the body. Like, they were just hugging each other and shit. That was so... Bro, that really hit the heart. But yeah, Sandler, he literally did not care. He just went out there. He wanted to be with Hanus in the last moments. And Hanus, the coolest thing is he can swim in space. The spider is swimming in space. And he takes Yakub with him to the Chopra, to the beginning and end of all things, and shows him the most beautiful sights which came from his life. And they go through all of his memories together as they have done up until that point. Yeah, forgetting yourself. Oh yeah, pregnancy. I got a joke about that. Like, you ever meet like a pregnant couple and like, you know, the man and wife, and they got 2 kids running around, so the wife is pregnant again with a third child. Do you ever just say, "Oh my God, you're pregnant"? And the wife, "Oh, yeah, we're pregnant again." And I look to the guy, he's like, "You just couldn't control yourself, huh?" Is that a good thing to say to pregnant couples? I don't know. But yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say on this movie. Yeah, I watched Perfect Stranger before this. That did not compel me to make a video. But when I watched this, I knew I had to make a video. And if you look at my channel, I don't make any videos. But this shit was so good. I wish everyone would watch it. That's why I'm telling people that have not seen this movie to watch it in a video marked spoiler. That's my grand plan. But yeah, so I guess everyone's here would have watched it already, and you know how good it is. So yeah. All right, I'll see you in the next one.